So this is the pool pump room for the pool. It's located on level 4. That's your pool is located at level 5. This is the panel right here. They will create labeling. The electricians make sure they were going to do that. That's what I'm pleased.
Right.
We'll start off with the filters. So these are your standard sand filters. You got 2 of them, TR100s. They have this multi-port for the maintenance. Everything is pretty self-explanatory. You got filter. You have waste just to just throw away the water. You have that's what I was talking about, the rainwater, where if it ever does get too high, they can utilize waste. You got the closed position. The closed position is usually used for maintenance if they have to treat something for the filter. You have backwash. That is to clean all the debris inside your sand filter. So right now this filter is 30% gravel, probably about 40% of sand, and then it has a spacing where that's where it's going to get all the fine sediment. So if you look at this pump right here, this has a catch basin. Right now it has the trash. This should catch anything larger like twigs, leaves, paper. I guess anything bigger than like 3 millimeters or whatnot, but everything else it should catch here. So anything that's like hair, just dirt, grime, algae, whatever that doesn't catch, it'll catch it right here, and it will just stop at the sand. From there, the maintenance will I will recommend every 2 weeks to 3 weeks in the beginning until he starts noticing a pattern. And when I say that, it's like he should start getting one with the pool, and then you'll notice that, you know what, I don't need to clean it twice, maybe I can just clean it 1 time. Or he might just need to do it 2 times a week. But you'll do the backwash, he'll throw away all the debris, which will only take like about 2 to 3 minutes. And then he will just return it back to the filter. These recirculation is just to clean the lines. Rinse is also just to give it a quick rinse into the gears inside here. And then filter is just going back to operation where it's just pretty much going to work exactly like a filter should, which means that the water's going to get directly down here. And it's going to go directly right here, and the suction will come out through here. So that's the operation of the filter. You have your gauges here. Right now, I just replaced this one because it's got broken this morning. But usually, I'm gonna place all these indicators, but usually when it gets to 20 pounds of pressure, that's kind of an indication of it needs to be clean. As long as it's above 10, that means perfectly fine. So the range is 10 and 20 is perfect. Above 20, it's recommended to do a backwash. You got your side glass. The side glass is to see all the debris, so it's very noticeable when you do a backwash. When they do it, it'll turn very dark brown, or there's algae, it'll turn green. But like the 2 to 3, even maybe 5, and there's rare cases where the pool is completely green and it just hasn't been treated in a long time. It might take a little longer, but you'll be able to see everything through here. And that will kind of give you the indication that the filter's getting cleaner. This right here is just a throttle valve. So it's just in case it's making too much mess. It's just to control what's disposing water, you kind of shut it a little bit more. We move along here. These valves right here, which right here is labeled. You have a manual fill line, which means that you're just kind of directing water source from the plumber's line into your pool whenever you need to fill up. You can utilize this. We want to make sure that whenever we utilize manual fill, that the maintenance is very aware that they have to shut it off. Because that is another situation where they leave it on, they go to lunch, and the pool is going to keep filling up until someone stops it. But this will be the line. This one up here is your autofill that is labeled right here. This is the one that I was demonstrating upstairs, where you can leave this one on, but it can also be, if you choose me, you can leave it off as well. So that's just in addition to the point. Moving along, we got the skimmer line, which is labeled right here, and your main drain line. The skimmer line, usually is recommended to have this one all the way open. Right now we're doing some maintenance. So what I recommend all the time is a skimmer line always open for all the debris that's just floating on the top part of the skimmer line, the water line. So it can do 100%, usually almost 80% of the job that it's doing in the pool is through the skimmer. And then you got your main drainage. Usually I keep that halfway because it's not, a lot of sediment doesn't really go down. So this is really just utilized for, just to make sure that the pump is filled with water. And then if the maintenance wants to brush, they can brush all of it into the main drain and it will catch it. So this is just, it's always just recommended to keep it halfway. Moving into our pump, we just have a standard pump. It doesn't have any special features. It just turns on and off. What I do recommend is that whenever they clean that basket or whenever they're doing maintenance, to make sure, I always recommend to have at least 2 people. But in case there's one capable maintenance person, just to make sure that they check, double check, triple check, because this thing does output a lot of pressure. When there's a closed valve, this water, pretty much the way this works is everything from the pool goes down into the pump and it releases it out through here. In case that there's a valve closed, wherever the case might be, here or anywhere you see, it can build up enough pressure to where it can actually break or cause some damage down here. The pipe can break, which with the maintenance, they're gonna have to figure out how to fix that. But hopefully, if everything's done right and accordingly, there should never ever be a problem, which everybody's pretty capable. You got your check valve. What this means, because you're located on the 4th floor, all the water that comes from upstairs, it has a flat that only goes one way, so all the water won't just kind of gush out like that. And it will preserve water, so it's just not just kind of wasting water. Keep moving on to this one. So right here, this one makes the pool fancy. We just got a standard Hayward TriStar pump, and all this really doing is have no filters, no nothing. Pretty much what it's doing is just grabbing water from the pool and redirecting it to those jets that were shooting out to the pool and those bubblers. We have it right here where we have this label. This one right here is your jets. This is the ones on the wall. Right now, we're kind of testing right now, but it is a powerful pump. I think I cranked it halfway and it was already shooting almost outside the pool. So we're working on that. But this is your bubbler. When we were up there, you kind of saw how high they got. They're not that, not nothing to really be concerned about. If in whatever cases they see that it's not working properly, like maybe one is kind of not working and the other one too, the maintenance can kind of go in there with the screwdriver, and usually it's just like clean the nozzle with like a wire brush or something, but that's usually the case. But right here they can shut it, and you can kind of play with it and kind of toggle with them. But it's pretty straightforward. This doesn't have anything too crazy, so it's just that you got your check levels as well here. Like I said, you can have it on, you can have it off, whatever it's recommended, whatever you guys prefer. Now moving on to, this is your heater. This is your pool heater. This is pretty straightforward to operate it. Right now, we're still on testing. To operate this heater, you just click the switch, and really it just has like 3 modes, and then it'll just have like a troubleshooting. But it's very simple. Right now it's off. If you get close, you can kind of see the water temp, but it has a little thermometer inside. As well, yeah, there's a thermometer inside. But you can turn it on by just toggling with the mode. So as to say spa or pool, you usually put on pool, and then we will just kind of bump up the temperature where we want it. Right now it's at 85. If we were to put at 90, when we open up, right now it's saying no demand, but you'll hear that. So that's indicating that's a spark. So once the gas line is open and the valves over there are turned on, you will need presence of water to actually operate this thing. But you're gonna hear that, and then you're just gonna hear the flame should turn on, and it just starts by itself. So pretty much whenever you guys, whoever is operating, they can turn it on, it will just start operating. When it gets to the temperature, as like I'm saying, like right now at 90, it will shut off, and whenever it drops down, it will turn back on. So it does have like an automatic. Uh,
So it's kind of like a regular
yeah,
unit,
it's
like
just like a
ACM.
regular heater, and it's pretty, that's as simple as that gets. If there's an issue with the heater, it does give a code. You can go to the website, and they're very precise on that. They also have a very great customer service, so you can kind of just give them that troubleshoot, and then they'll tell you exactly what they believe is wrong with it. And if not, like I said, we have a 1-year warranty. We'll come out and we'll fix everything. Moving on, I guess we just want to fix this one. This is your salt generator. So this is just a power supply, and this is your actual the cells that operate for this salt system. And so, like I was explaining upstairs, what it is when we add salt to the pool, it will just go through here, and it has cells, but it will just kind of electrify and it will create chlorine. I could go more in depth in these things right here, but everything is pretty standard. Like it's really just red light, green light. Right now, because there's no water presence, you can see the flow is red, but once there's flow presence, it'll turn green. But by reading like the manual, the manual is great. Like it tells you everything. I can also recommend a link that there's a gentleman that demonstrates everything very, very well and very precise. But pretty much everything's indicated by green and red, and it'll kind of demonstrate where if it's red, obviously something's wrong. Where you just kind of go look it up, and it will demonstrate like it's low on salt, or it's not good enough, or there's no flow. They need to clean this. And then you got these options right here where it's just these two the only buttons that the lanes will be able to use. So they will just be to bump up the salt or lower it down. So yeah, so it's like you can kind of control how much chlorine you want inside your pool. Like you don't have to put it at 100%, you can put like at 60%. Usually people keep it at 60 to 40%. And especially you have 3 of them, that's more than enough. And this is mostly recommended for springtime and summertime, and you will never have to worry about chlorine ever again. During the off seasons, usually this will be the next thing we'll go into. This is the next operation. So this right here is your CAT system. This is pretty much what I would like to always tell people. This is just to help out maintenance people. This is not to be confused to this is what's going to take over the pool and this is going to do their job for them. And what do I mean by that? So what I mean is that this system right here, what it does, it microdoses the pool accordingly. So maintenance will still have to go into these features, and it's always recommended for maintenance to always, even though they're dependent on this, but to always do a manual sample. We have your manual sample here right here. Okay. And this is what they will use to sample their kit. So they have everything here to check their pH, chlorine, alkalinity, calcium hardness, and their cyanuric acid. In doing so, this one just does pH, which is acidity, and this and chlorine. You got your orb sensor and your pH sensor. So these are the sensors that's going to be reading. So pretty much like I said, what I recommend is they manually test it, and then they can plug it in and do it. There's options right here where if they go to the manual itself as well. There's places where they can calibrate, and when they get a good reading, or if it's off, if it's just off, I always recommend they shut it off, do a manual balance of the pool, and they come back, and then they can put everything back inside the system, what they read or what they've adjusted it to now, and then for the remaining week, it should just microdose it. But I always recommend they do it at least once a week manually, just to make sure that the system is reading the same thing as your kit, and then everything should work great. Because sometimes as well, as you can see, you have 100 gallon barrels. So there's a chance where one would precipitate more than the other one. And sometimes when that happens, it will start reading wrong readings, and then it's pretty much telling that you got to refill, or you gotta kind of play with the parameters. As they're doing maintenance, they have switches that they can switch on. Right now they're on. But everything's kind of plug and play where if they're just doing maintenance operations where they're just kind of doing exactly what they're supposed to do, they can shut it off for a quick second and then plug it in. There's no harm or foul to it, like in case they want to shut it off. And like I said, this is an addition. I understand that some maintenance like to do other things that they find more comfortable, and that's perfectly fine. But I want to make that very clear where this is not something where this will take over and it's going to take your carrier pool for the rest of the summer. It honestly, it works for a good week.
Right.
Yeah. So, but as long as they know, it should only take like 10 minutes, and they can technically make it work for the whole summer if they do their part.
If they're doing it.
And that is all for the room. Is there? I guess just the last thing. These right here are your bypass. So whenever you're trying to operate, like right now, this is for the salsa. Whenever this is being operated, these valves will be open. One of the best ways to know that it's open or closed is that these are parallel to the pipe. And when it's perpendicular, that's usually indicating that it's closed. So these are closed lines. We want to make sure that if we close these, we want to make sure this is open all the way. If we do open this, we can redirect the water. Some people like to do it halfway, just to, I guess it's a precaution, but it's definitely possible to close this whole valve and it will just redirect the water into the salsa and back into the pool. That's the same way with the heater, so this will be for the heater. And that's pretty much exactly what it is for. It's just redirecting water into the pertaining equipment that you're going to use for that season or for the pool. That is all.
Awesome.